This was our 100th episode.
Oh, love you guys.
What a 100th episode special, right?
That was rich. It was rich.
Let's keep going. Let's get 200.
All right.
To 100 more.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Valor Coffee Podcast. Today, we just give a good old recap of our trip to Chicago, SCA Expo 2024. It was such an amazing trip. I think it really put a lot of wind in our sails, gave us a lot of perspective on the industry that we work in. Got to hang out with producers, importers, espresso machine manufacturers, wholesale partners. It was just such a action-packed, rich time, and we share some of our takeaways and antics that ensued from a lot of time with these guys here. So I'm recovering from that. For today's coffee, we have a coffee roasted by MAME, who had a booth at the SCA Expo. We paid $100 for this thing. It was 5 ounces of coffee, and it was seriously such a treat to be able to brew this up and taste it. It's a geisha anaerobic natural from Panama, checking all the boxes. Really cool packaging. So stay tuned for the review of this at the end. As always, our sponsor for today's podcast is Clive Coffee. They are an online retailer for all kinds of coffee gear that you might get for your home setup or your coffee shop. And if you use code VALOR5 at checkout for any of the products, we get a little affiliate kickback. And that's a really good way to sponsor the program so that we can continue to do this. Also, if you use that code VALOR5, you get 5% off Eureka grinders and Luca espresso machines. So that can go a long way when you're making a big purchase. As always, if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel on your podcast platform app of choice or on YouTube. That helps us with the algorithm to get this out to more people. So if you're enjoying the content, it's free for you, but we just ask that you subscribe, like the videos. That'd be really awesome. Without further ado, let's get to the show.
Live from Roswell, Georgia. It's the Valor Coffee Podcast. Isn't it funny to say live when it's not actually live? Like, it isn't live like when you stream something,
Yes.
but we just say it anyways.
Mm-hmm.
A live recording.
Live recording. See, even that doesn't make any sense.
Well, it's for a studio audience. Ain't that right, people?
Yeah.
Dude,
That'd be crazy.
Sell tickets to this thing, man.
We're back.
We're back.
We're back home. We haven't sat down and recorded a podcast in, heck, a week and a half. Almost 2 weeks.
I really missed it.
And you, even longer.
I know. I haven't
Here.
recorded a podcast. We haven't recorded a podcast in this room in a long time.
That's right.
Nearly a month.
What? Really?
Yeah. If you haven't checked out Ethan and I's solo episode in our front lobby, it was a heater. I mean, it's not gonna get a lot of clicks because, you know, it's not like clickbait
Three
title
best
like
coffees.
you know, predicting coffee trends in 2024 or something like that.
Amazing like that.
Yeah, I've totally watched it.
Oh,
I
But
will.
it was some real nitty gritty cafe stuff.
boots on the ground.
So be sure to check that out.
Cafe stuff. Hey, SCA
Hey.
Expo. We were there.
Gosh.
And this episode, we're going to just dissect the nuance of kind of just this I almost said a bad word. The city of Chicago.
Whoa.
Yes.
Yeah, hey, Chicago was amazing. And shout out to Chris DeFurio, Keys to the Shop. Amazing time with him.
What a smart guy.
A little too smart. I'm like,
He really was
these guys
smart.
are reading my mail right now.
Yeah.
I'm like, get out of my head.
I know.
He's
Get
seen
out
a
of my
lot of
head.
stuff. I think he's solved a lot of problems in his life, you know.
We were able to record that podcast in Prequel. Shout out one more time to Prequel for letting us be there. If you haven't checked out that episode, please. I think it's my favorite episode we've ever recorded.
The one with Keys to the Shop.
Yeah.
I was wearing the Prequel shirt I got yesterday, and I got a lot of comments about it. So everybody should go get one.
Yeah, there we go. Do we kind of just want to start from the top and let people know what we did in Chicago after taking a question? We have questions?
We do have one question.
We have a question.
Is it juicy, juicy, juicy?
Yes, let me just pull that up real
We do a
quick.
Q&A segment every week. So if you want us to answer your questions about coffee,
Life.
relationship advice.
Yeah. Gossip column.
Honestly, that would be way funnier if that's what the Q&A section turned into. So this week, people, please send us some non-coffee related questions for
or
next week.
coffee related relationship questions. Like,
Yeah.
I'm a barista. I'm in love with another barista
I'm
At another
crushing on
coffee
my
shop.
at another
coworker.
coffee shop. Like, is this like a Romeo and Juliet
Is the
situation?
competition aspect like? Is it going to be okay?
Am I going to get fired?
Yeah.
And the answer is yes.
But we'll
So-
dissect that whenever we get the actual question.
From Stephen Drain.
Steven.
Hey, y'all.
Hey.
Hey, man. Really enjoy the podcast and want to give your coffee a try. Is
Aw.
there a kind you'd recommend to get started with y'all? Primarily would do espresso with the occasional pour over. Any recommendations? Thanks for your time. So, if you were going to try our coffee for the first time and you were mostly doing espresso at home and the occasional pour over, maybe we recommend 2 coffees. What are you thinking?
Steven, I just need to know more about you.
Oh,
I could go to his profile. I think on Instagram you can really find out a lot about people.
Okay. Without revealing
go to
too
his
much about
first
Steven.
post ever. That'll give us everything we need to know.
Like, are his pictures film or like iPhone?
How many pictures is he in versus other people?
Yeah, I think we could really navigate the nuance of this guy's profile. I think that might be a little intrusive.
While you're doing that, just shout out to the main reason we're doing this podcast, sales channel, right?
Right.
We just want you to buy our coffee. So thank you, Steven. Thank you so much. Hey,
worked.
if we can get serious for a second, lock in. I would just
Yeah, sorry.
tell Steven to buy Free Throw because it's a great all-purpose coffee. It's what we use as espresso in the shop, and it kind of scratches the itch of coffee nerd and average Joe.
Yeah. Okay,
Uh,
so that's one. And then what's another one you would recommend?
Can I recommend the other one?
the second one I would recommend.
No.
I want to say one too because I know you're not going to say what I'm about
Well,
to say.
if that's
you're-
why I
'cause you're so
want to know
special.
if he enjoys more modern coffees.
Mm.
So if he, because some people who are like, I brew espresso at home. Plenty of people are only brewing extremely. What? What are you smirking at?
Just imagine you asking Steven, how refined is your palate? Because before I recommend a coffee, I want to make sure you're
Listen,
ready.
I'm sure his palate is perfectly refined. He's brewing espresso at home. I also think I have a pretty. I think I also have a pretty refined palate.
With your cup of geisha.
And I like to brew Free Throw at home, and I also like to brew Honduras Marco Tulio Sabayon honey processed.
Of course.
We have this Honduras honey processed that I've been pulling on espresso at home.
Oh,
that John was popping on the cupping table yesterday.
It's more modern.
what are your specs on the
It's
shot?
lighter. It's wild. All right, so Flair 58,
Duh.
Goated.
third wave water espresso profile,
Let's go.
Weber. Basket.
Weber basket, Weber shaker. So grind Turin DF83 V into blind shaker, shake it up into pour filter Weber unibasket.
And your wife is like, babe, hurry up.
Pull the shot. I'm going like up to 7 bars and then backing down, pulling the shot in like 20 seconds.
Hand squeezed espresso.
20 to 60.
20 to 60.
Hand
Okay.
squeezed.
I could totally see you being like, Ethan, we have to totally do away with how we're making espresso.
Mobile ordering
That is not
and
true.
flare shots.
Done.
Do I want an EG1 after Expo? Because all the coffee that I tasted that was amazing was from an EG1. Yes.
What's an EG1? I know. I'm just saying for the listeners.
Ugh. EG1 is Weber's flagship grinder. It's amazing.
It looks like a telescope.
It looks crazy. It's just a big, solid chunk of metal.
Does it have like a decent sized hopper? I didn't
No, very small. It's definitely like a single dose type of grinder.
like if you had to brew, say you didn't mod the hopper and you did like a batch brew, would you just like slowly pour in coffee?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe. Weber, if you have a solution for like brewing a batch of drip,
Would you even recommend that?
please
Weber?
let us know.
We
but-
want to hear it from Weber.
I know we're getting sidetracked here because we're still on this question, but I will say huge shout out to Weber. They were extremely, extremely kind and gave me amazing coffee from the bird.
The bird.
Bird. It was
Uh,
good. You had some. I didn't. Oh,
Yeah, it was wacky to watch too. It was a beautiful.
Did it make all the
Whole thing.
clicky noises?
There
that
were some clickety clackities.
ASMR stuff?
Yeah,
That's cool.
Yeah.
The coffee that I would recommend is the coffee we have in our green box right now, which is coffees from Central and South America. Colombia, Santa Maria. Very, very, very delicious stuff. We have it on espresso over there, and I was pulling some shots yesterday. Made a cappuccino. Delicious. In the world of anaerobic and co-ferments and all of these amazing and highly worthy of praise processing methods, this is just a really great washed Huila, Colombia, well-maintained, well-roasted. I just love it. And it won't break the bank either.
Come on.
I think it'd be great, like, exactly for what he's saying. Like, mostly espresso, brews an occasional pour over. I think it would really shine, both of those.
How have you been liking the espresso grinder we have back there? The Eureka Olympus high speed.
Yeah, the
Shout out Clive.
Eureka
Shout out
Olympus.
Valor 5
Thank you,
checkout.
Clive.
Valor 5 check out 5% off that grinder.
Gosh, we're sellouts, man.
No, I really do like it. I mean,
it is good.
the only thing we haven't done with it is put wow, great job, guys. Throw a lot of volume at it, mostly because the hopper is microscopic. And so if it had a bigger hopper,
Which is an option.
which is an option, I would love to, like, throw some service at it.
Yeah, you should take it on the next catering gig.
Yeah.
Do it.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Hey, I have 2 questions, a part of our Q&A.
Okay.
Can I do that?
This is your program, man.
Yes.
I'm the host, but yeah, you can.
Well, that's why I asked. See, he is the host.
Nice.
Okay. Question 1, live on air. I got a question from a guest that I didn't know the answer to. She was like, super random. Are your coffees like tested for mold? Are they mold free? Like before they're shipped out? And I was like, duh. And I was like, I know any coffee we get is always going to be in a Grain Pro bag, like a sealed, safe bag, not just like the burlap sack you might be thinking about. And she was like, so they're not certified? And I was like, I don't know. And she's like, okay. And she got matcha. What do you guys think about that? Do you think mold free is one of those kind of certified organic or like certified fair trade buzzword things that like people, would like to have that kind of stamp, but it's not something that if you're getting really high end coffee like ourselves, we really don't need to be thinking about that. And maybe more commodity coffees could be processed in such a poorly manner where they have like a really high moisture content and then are a host for mold.
Yeah. I mean, I think we've talked about this before on the program in a similar conversation about like fair trade and all that kind of stuff that you were saying. I think this is one of those things that I started catching wind of in the cafes maybe a year ago. And it was most of the people that were concerned with, is this coffee mold free? They did not come from like specialty background. It was just like people that were reading articles online, which there's nothing wrong with that. But you'd be hard pressed to like find someone who has like a really extensive background in specialty talking about mold free coffee, I think, in my experience. I would love to hear from our listeners too. I know a lot of you are in cafes every day. Do your guests ask you this about your coffee? And if so, what do you tell them? That would be really cool to know. If you could drop us a comment or send us an email, info@valor.coffee. What are your thoughts, Riley?
My thoughts are, I can't remember who it was. I definitely have read an article about this entire situation that Perfect Daily Grind or Daily Coffee News or someone put out. And I don't want to put any words in any of these people's mouth. I don't remember who wrote the article. Okay. It was some reputable coffee publication that basically said some large non-specialty company was like, we're gonna do this. This is gonna be our marketing pitch, mold free. And it was someone along the lines of, again, I don't know if it was them, like bulletproof coffee, like something, one of those types of brands. They started having this pitch, and in all of the research that's been done on, I mean, really any coffee, but especially specialty coffee that's processed with a ton of intention, there's scant to no levels of microtoxins in the coffee. So don't worry, Ethan.
Sounds like I can rest easy.
Rest easy.
Hey, if you find that article later, maybe put it in the show notes or something.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
I would really like to be able to brush up on all that kind of stuff. Like be able to give people really good answers. Cause like everything you're saying is probably true. I mean, who knows?
He's
But
a trustworthy guy.
I mean, he's a pretty trustworthy guy. You're right.
I only lie like a few times a day.
But like if you said that verbatim to whoever this was that asked you, I doubt that it would ease their concerns at all. Like I want to be like, hey, yeah, actually, we have this study that we could reference, like a paper that debunks this, and like give them a good answer,
Yeah, not derailing the conversation. Mold is something that is really interesting that is so easy, I think, to incite fear because it's usually more or less invisible, And then like, especially if it could last the roasting process, which I was like, it would make it out of there. I don't know.
Right.
Whatever.
Incredibly high heat.
Hey, that was question 1. Question number 2. Did you see that La Marzocco featured our podcast on their video?
Yes.
And it was Lillaby talking.
Yeah.
It was an interesting match for that video, I felt.
I never saw the video. I didn't know what she was saying, but she just told me. And I was like, that's crazy.
What was the video? Was it like a
just like
Linea Mini thing?
A Linea Mini getting unboxed, and Lillaby's talking about being a barista.
Crushing a rush. Yeah, she said something really profound that has stuck with me, that like when a wave of a rush comes, you can either get crushed by the wave or you can ride the wave.
It's good.
Which is just kind of like a cool way of saying like, don't be a victim. Like if you just choose to like engage and lock in, you can ride the momentum of the rush. And I think we all know what that feels like, to be crushed by a rush or like feed off the energy that a rush brings.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was funny. They put it in like a, Linea Mini unboxing in someone's home or whatever.
And then it zooms out of the house and there's like 500 people outside of the house.
Yeah, turn out it's a coffee house.
Yeah, it's a coffee.
Yeah.
Well, hey, shout out Lillaby for saying something so profound.
People love it in the comments.
Yeah,
that's
she
for sure.
she just drops these dimes off the top of her dome. So
thanks, Lillaby.
Thanks, Lillaby.
It's like we say things for 2 years. Lillaby's on the podcast like 4 times.
Yeah.
Gets on the
La Marzocco's 300,000 follower page.
Yeah.
She's got a way with words, man.
She's a wordsmith. Those were my questions. Thank you for indulging.
Thank you for bringing your questions.
No, seriously, thank you. Hey, we didn't even say it. We'll get to it in a second at the review, but we're tasting some high level coffee.
Is this everyone's most expensive cup of coffee ever? On the whole bean side, I'm sure we've all bought really, really expensive pour overs before, right? Especially you, Ethan.
Oh, absolutely.
Yes. But as far as, so what are we drinking here?
I don't want to. It's just when you're dealing with something so expensive, you don't want to like butcher any aspect of it. So please, grace for me.
Yeah.
But we swung by the MAME Roasters booth in Roasters Village.
Roasters Village.
In SCA, which, hey, we'll get to the whole layout. Relax, guys.
Yeah, you can just hear them now. Like,
But an awesome guy that we met named Ransom took us over there they were one of the few places I saw that where they were having to like sell their coffee because it was so expensive.
Mm-hmm.
I get it. We'll get to the final price tag in a second.
Right after this break.
Right after this sponsor. Valor Coffee. And we were just tasting all their coffees. We were cutting up. The coffees were blowing our minds. Got talking to, I believe, Paolo and Giovanni. Super kind, amazing people. Paolo knew the podcast. Shout out, Paolo, if you're out there, bro.
Thanks, brother.
coming to you from Switzerland, which is nuts. The international presence, whatever, we'll get there. So this coffee it's called Abu Lot 7. So I'm guessing single lot, right? What's a lot? How big is a lot?
A lot.
How much is a lot?
I mean, the basic premise there is like most coffee that you drink doesn't come from a single lot.
Like probably like many might even think, you know?
What do you mean?
Like when I think when, at least for me, for a long time, when I thought single origin, I assumed single lot.
Sure.
I don't know if you guys could relate to such a Neanderthal kind of level thought that I would have, but for me in my household, but yeah, usually it's like an area or like we talked about it with Ethiopia too, with a lot of like smaller farms. A lot of the coffee coming out of there is like coming from stations, like washing stations or processing stations. So this is like a farmer, not only a farmer, but a farmer's specific lot.
Yeah. And there's single estate too. You know, so like that's kind of like single lot, single estate, you know, sort of a co-op or like washing station or whatever. And then you've kind of, I don't know what even the next step.
Because single origin, I guess, could just be coffee from the same country, for that matter.
Sure.
That's what we'll call a single origin blend, but it's just a bunch of coffees from the same place.
Pre-roast blend.
Sorry, George Howe, that would hit. That would not please him. Anyways,
Dang.
Panamanian, anaerobic, natural geisha. Buzz, 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 cha-ching.
Checking all the boxes.
Come on. Farmer's name is Jose Luttrell. You guys want to know the MASL on this, John?
Yeah.
Please.
1550.
Interesting.
Okay. Like medium, right?
Yeah, medium altitude.
MASL.
Got coffee descriptors. Coffee's descriptors filter. The tasting notes are red grape, coconut, pineapple, and pina colada. And it was amazing tasting it there. And I'm really proud.
What is this?
So they were brewing. No, go ahead. They were brewing it for everyone at Expo on Hario switches, which if you don't know what a Hario switch is, I didn't know either. It's just a V60 with like a rubber fixture on the bottom that can be a stopper. So you can turn it basically your conical brewer into a borderline immersion brewer as well. So they were making it on that. And shout out to the guy we were with. Ransom was kind enough to let us walk away with a Hario switch so we could brew this coffee up properly.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. And so we're talking and then we're catching up. I'm like, hey, I want to buy one of your coffees to review them on our podcast. And they're like, yeah. I'm like, got any recommends? They're like, yeah, you should get this one. I was like, okay. And it was $126. And I was like,
well, I think we paid for 2 coffees as well. I think it was $100.
okay. But I've just never,
nonetheless,
we've never done that before.
Coffee.
This
expensive
is
coffee.
On the front. It says competition coffee. I think Giovanni was saying someone from their team was competing with this coffee or one of their coffees. I don't know. But this is high level stuff, yo.
It is insane. And maybe we can get to it more in the review. But
hey, if there's any coffee left.
You did a great job brewing it.
You did. I had my doubts.
Really?
No.
Oh.
I had my doubts on the espresso and the cappuccino.
Sure.
But they turned out pretty great. We've got the EK 43S from the cafe on the workbench. So,
but yeah, to be fair, the odds were stacked against us and you. You're using a brewer you hadn't used on a grinder that usually is in this space that you know nothing about. Like you've never used that grinder.
Never touched it.
That Hario is cool though. Basically, you just have a full immersion for the bloom, right?
I'm sure there's different philosophies, practices,
schools of thought,
schools. But yeah, I kept it there. I kept the stopper on for the bloom and then let it ride.
Cold bloom.
Cold bloom.
You guys heard about cold blooming?
No.
With cold water?
Yeah. It's a thing.
Cold water. Ice cold beer. And then so I dosed 30. This is so. I dosed 30 grams I put 20 into the V60 and I was like, I don't feel comfortable making 30 grams of coffee on this because it's kind of small. I'm worried that it would clog.
Yeah.
So then I did a 10 grammer after I was done.
And this is the 10 grammer?
That's a 10 grammer. I kind of want to do a little SBS side by side.
I like that one better.
Yeah, me too.
I like the one, the larger volume one better. Listeners, sorry. I'm just pointing as if you know what I'm saying.
Well, I probably shouldn't, and we all know this, but if I was probably going to do a smaller dose, I probably should have done a tighter grind.
Right.
And if you didn't know that, maybe I'm wrong, but at least from this experience right now. Host.
Thank you, Ethan. Let's talk about Chicago. What was our experience like in the city and at Expo? Russ.
Yeah. Thank you. Well, as we've probably mentioned on the program, this was our first experience at SCA Expo, which happens every year. Last year it was in Portland, right?
Sure.
This year in Chicago. Next year in Houston.
Then the next year in San Diego.
Okay.
Allegedly.
No, it's confirmed.
It's confirmed.
When it's in Houston, are we going to the city of the currently reigning Super Bowl champions? That's the real question. Do the Texans have what it takes to win the Super Bowl this year?
I mean,
that's going to change the landscape of the city in April.
Started.
I'm pretty sure next year's Expo is also like maybe the weekend themed of the draft.
No.
Yeah.
Well, actually, that's kind of good.
It's great.
We just can't go to any after parties.
That's right.
Yeah.
Or
on Thursday night.
Or a draft related football. Or
we'll have our own after party, and it's just a draft party.
We're like at the local Taco Mac.
Yeah. We buy out Taco Mac.
Done. Easy.
Get all those TVs on the same channel.
Yep.
Done.
Anyways, I'll start off by saying I love Chicago. I had never been to Chicago before, but I think it's my favorite like big city I've ever been to.
It just won by Travel and Leisure, the most walkable city in the U.S.
That makes sense.
And that holds up. That holds water.
I mean, thanks to its grid system. And, every trip, there's an assortment of bits that sort of emerge and then stick for months to come. And the grid system was definitely one of them. Just kind of like over commenting on the grid
We're
system.
On a grid. Like, do we turn here? And I'm like, well, it doesn't
matter.
We could
just walk.
It's just a grid system.
Right.
So we'll end up.
Public transportation was awesome.
It was fine. Been better.
Okay.
Better than Atlanta's by all means.
Well, yeah, when you have Atlanta as your context, it's pretty good.
We love Atlanta, to be clear.
So yeah, we got there on Thursday. And what did we do when we first got there on Thursday? I know that we went to the minor figures.
Our bat, baby.
Oh yeah, we did a riverboat.
Well, Anzo Ubered us to the hotel. And
you remember all of our Uber's names.
Maybe one of the most memorable aspects of the trip was how crazy our Uber drivers were.
Oh.
And we ended with the best Uber driver we've ever had.
They all really liked to monologue. But she was more of a conversationalist.
That's
at the end.
right.
But we're getting ahead of ourselves. So yeah, Riley booked a riverboat architecture tour, the Arbat. And we took a wonderful convertible boat,
Convertible? What does it convert to?
Well, there's no like
it goes up on the road.
There's no roof. So yeah, we went down the river, saw some really beautiful buildings. Those are like absolutely gorgeous buildings. I wasn't expecting that either. They kind of look like they're in a huge Middle Eastern city vibe for me.
Well,
the
T Tower. Trump Tower was built by the same or designed by the same architecture firm that designed the Burj Khalifa. Is that what it's called?
Sure. In Dubai.
Was it Wiz?
The Wiz Khalifa.
Okay. And then, seeing the Great Lake. Which one was it?
Michigan.
Lake
baby.
Michigan. Yeah.
Absolutely
gorgeous. That was fun. We also brought, as an aside, we brought Luke Vineyard and Sam Smith, our
roasting team.
And that was amazing.
Not our roastery team.
Right.
Aiden and Blake, we see you.
Yeah. Our roasters. So yeah, getting to hang with them was amazing. We went to the Minor Figures after party, which
You're skipping ahead from one of the best dinners we had. Duck, duck, goat.
yeah, that's true.
We walked. We did 2 mile walk. Duck, duck, goat. We stopped at a barcade. I had a glass of water. We played this like really weird game that Riley loved, but who dominated? Did you and Luke dominate or something?
I was really bad at it.
Me and
You
Luke
and Luke.
dominated.
You were there?
Let's be clear.
Oh, yeah.
I was there.
Yeah.
That was another bit, is that
Dominating.
Ross wasn't there.
Right, but I was. Yeah. Yep.
Shout out Duck, duck, duck.
You know what? Whenever my wife asks me like, "Hey, what did you do at the thing that I wasn't at?" I'm always like, "I don't know, but it was cool."
It
So
just
why
happened.
doesn't someone else sort of take the recap?
Well, something we need to do, and something you guys need to do when you go somewhere, you need to make a trip log. Like
I know.
that would take 5 minutes at the end of the
Absolutely not.
trip to sit down and be like, what did I do during this trip? And
You
then
could journal it.
you list out everything that you did. And then
That,
you
I
have
think
it
that's a
forever.
great idea.
And then instead of talking to your wife when you get home, you just rip the paper out and
Yep.
you're like,
You don't even have to talk to her.
Yeah,
I'm going to my room, play
Right.
video games.
yeah. I'm gonna play
That
Madden.
is
I'm going
really
to put
dumb.
Madden.
We're not like that, everyone.
Well,
Well, all right. Minor Figures after party. It was awesome. Met some cool people.
I mean, honestly, and I'll kind of jump in from time to time on this recap, but
I didn't even get started.
you
so
know,
that's great.
Walking into that party, I was kind of like, I don't know anyone here, and I kind of don't know why we're here.
that was jumping in the deep end for sure of like a networking expo.
Yeah, I've never been much of a networker, but yeah, walking in there, just like, you know, walking up to someone that you do not know at all, kind of interrupting their current conversation
No,
And-
absolutely interrupting.
and being like, "Hey, I'm Ross from Valor," and they're like, "Valor, okay,
In Georgia.
yeah."
We're in Georgia.
But yeah, we got to hang out with some cool people there. It ended up being a great time.
Yeah. Met some people from King State,
King State,
Apple, and
who had an ice sculpture at their booth.
the luge. Shout out luge.
Yeah, they had this ice sculpture with their logo engraved into it, and the ice sculpture had a channel that was drilled.
A good channel. This isn't a bad channel.
No, yeah,
It's
sorry
not like
to
channeling.
use
Yeah,
that
it was
trigger word on you guys.
Channel.
Yeah, and they would run their oat lattes through the ice sculpture almost as like a cold exchange system.
Right.
Did
it work? No. Was it awesome?
Yes. And it was a really cool experience though, because they would pour it in the luge and you would put your cup on the other side and catch that thing.
That was probably one of the most high energy moments of like an expo booth.
Well, it just goes to show you, like, to make a memorable moment, having some sort of interactive,
Ice sculpture.
participatory experience. I think
like an ice sculpture.
it's kind of a good lesson for me.
So we have to get an ice sculpture if we ever get a booth.
Anyways, can I come take over again?
Yeah.
All right.
Jump back in.
So Thursday night. Oh, okay. Kind of the theme was the entire time Ethan really wanted to go see a movie.
Can I say something about that?
No, I'm the host, so I gotta keep moving. I'm just kidding. What's up?
It's just like I'm with the guys. I have a little boy at home, a baby. It's hard to get to the movies.
And you love movies.
And it's really hard to make an excuse like, I'm going to ask someone to watch Temple so that I can go be alone with my wife and not talk. And we're just going to watch a movie. I'm like, no, you don't go see a movie. So I thought,
It's like you had to do that for Dune.
you
Probably can't do that for Monkey Man.
You can't do that for Monkey Man. I now have to wait till it hits the streams. And it's getting a lot of bad press about not doing well at the box office. And I didn't help Dev Patel's directorial
Ethan.
debut.
You could have contributed.
And I could have contributed.
Yeah.
Surely it didn't have that big of a budget, right?
I don't know. Whatever. Anyway, so we finished the party, and I'm like, let's go see a movie. And then
I don't remember what happened that night.
we didn't see a movie. We walked the 2 miles back to. Also, another bit the whole time is that I just wanted to walk everywhere, and people kept being like, let's take an Uber or public transportation, like the train. And I'm like, let's just walk. This is Travel and Leisure's #1 ranked walkable city. Let's
Both
take
of
it.
my pinky toenails are ingrown from walking in Chicago
Oh,
in the wrong shoes.
dude, you know what this is? For all you watchers, this is the world's smallest violin. So
Burn.
we walked back to the hotel and we learned that there was a basketball court in the hotel on the 4th floor. And we were like, duh.
We finna ball.
So the 5 of us went and played basketball for probably like an hour and a half. Ross did dominate. Ross and Luke won a 2-on-3, which is just really embarrassing for us.
Yeah.
To be granted, I am terrible at basketball.
You're not terrible.
I'm a bad guy at basketball. Luke is also very good. And you. You guys are both awesome. And Sam and Riley were really good too.
They were also there.
Yeah.
My shots weren't falling.
It was just an off night for
Yeah, it was
Riley.
more of an off night.
Then we go to sleep. Then we wake up. Then it's Friday. Where do we go? Doma Cafe.
Well, we hit the gym.
You and I went to pump.
We got to pump this.
Yeah, if your hotel has a gym, you go to the gym.
It was a nice gym.
Also, the nicest hotel I've ever been to.
Same.
It was amazing.
Chicago Athletic Association.
We got it with credit card points. All you people that think we're just made of money, we're not. Okay.
It was $0.
It was $0.00 thanks to credit cards.
Chase Ultimate Rewards.
Chase Ultimate Rewards. Dude, a little side podcast. We just do like financial, like credit card tips.
Yeah.
The credit card podcast.
Yeah, the credit card podcast. It's such a cool place. I just wanted to hang out there.
I know.
And we did a couple times. But we took the train to Doma Cafe. Shout out. That place. Amazing breakfast. Amazing coffee. Who do we see?
What happened there, Ethan?
We saw a celebrity. Ayo Edebiri, the actress from The Bear. And then they were all like, don't say anything. Don't say anything. And I was like, I'm going to say something. And I'm like, I just walked up and I'm like, you're awesome. And then she was like, thanks.
And I was like, I'm getting the F out of
And
here.
I was like, I got to go. I was like, I'm sorry, I can't say in chat. I gotta go.
Gonna let you stay there.
I'm sorry, I can't stay and talk to you. Yeah.
So that was a really great way to start like our first
Bit of an
full
omen.
day. Yeah. A bit of a what?
Bit of an omen.
An omen.
Yeah, kind of like an omen that like this is gonna be an awesome trip because this is how it started.
I don't think so.
I don't like that. I'm gonna pass on that.
And then we go to Expo. Let's get to it. We go to Expo.
Huge convention center.
Yes.
Just shout out to the
Crazy.
McCormick Place
Yeah.
Convention Center.
Gorgeous.
If you guys are listening.
What was your first what hit you first when you walked up? You're seeing it for the first time. What was your first impression? Impression. There it is.
There we go.
Impression.
Well, yeah. So there's like the huge waiting area where you do registration, and then there's doors that lead into like the actual show floor. And I just remember walking over the little breezeway and seeing this sea of people because, you know, we heard that there were 16,000 people registered for this event. And yeah, it was just like a whole stack of people. It was wild. So that was my first impression, was just like the sheer amount of humans.
I couldn't agree more. Coming over the mound and being like, holy crud.
Yep.
That's a lot of people.
Coffee people.
But I was so grateful. We didn't say this. I don't know why we would have gotten into it, but we were talking about our expectations and goals for the trip at dinner. Duck, duck, goat.
Where memories are made.
Or memories. Where you come in as guests, but you leave as family. Duck,
Right.
duck, goat. And
Isn't that Olive Garden's thing?
I don't know. I just said it.
Keep it moving, boys.
And I was just talking. One of the things I was really trying to walk out this trip was like maintaining just who we are and who I am as an SOG, son of God. Ethan, I'm not trying to impress anybody. I'm not trying to prove that I'm the best coffee guy or anything like that. I'm just like, I can't wait to meet people and have fun. So, but seeing that group of that massive crowd of people, I'm like, whoa, small fish, big pond. But then you're like, that's not what it's about.
Right.
It's not being popular or not like having any form of status. We're just here. So that was fun. That was a cool moment for sure.
My first impression was when we walked into the, like, your welcome to SCA Expo moment, like the welcome to the NFL moment.
Yep.
We walk into the
What was your welcome to SCA moment?
we walk into the huge showroom, and I just have to say this isn't even a first impression. It's just funny. Walk in, and you guys are like, all right, let's do this. And you just like walk straight down the middle. And me and Sam, it's just such a perfect representation of all of our personalities. You guys walk straight down the middle, and me and Sam were like, we're splitting up. We're not doing that. We're going like to the edge. We're going to like try to start working our way like from the sides. And then it still didn't work. It was impossible.
After 3 days,
Yeah.
we couldn't go to see everything.
Mm-hmm.
It was so big. There
Yeah.
were so many booths and so many people to connect with.
For sure.
What % of the booths would you guys say you saw and you were like, I got to check that out? As opposed to booths that you saw and you were like, I don't care about that.
I would say I was into 20% of the stuff there.
Well, let me say this, Ross.
But there is some for everyone.
Right.
Like we just don't need custom packaging because we already have it.
we have
Right.
and we're pleased. That's what I was gonna be getting into. It was really revelatory when Mr. DeFurio from Keys to the Shop, we were talking on Saturday morning. He was like, SCA for the most part is very like origin and roaster oriented. So you're gonna see a lot of countries represented, and then like roastery related products and machinery. And I felt that to be very true. Whereas he was saying Coffee Fest is a lot more cafe owner, coffee shop oriented. And obviously there were like espresso machines and alternative milks and stuff like that for cafes, but it was a lot more dominant of like Brazil, Colombia, Honduras, these like just countries being represented on these booths of getting to meet all these producers, farmers, and importers from these places all around the world, which was awesome. That's what I was saying earlier of like the international presence really was mind blowing to me of like, man, we would really have to literally travel the world to meet this many people.
Yeah.
But we got to meet farmers and producers in Colombia and Ethiopia and Honduras and all over in one Chicago.
Yeah, those I think were my favorite moments. And we went into this trip not putting a lot on the books because we'd never been. We wanted to kind of just like go and experience it and, not have like too much of an agenda. But I think next year, I just want to press into our origin relationships and use SCA, like use Expo as the means for that. Which could, then stem. I mean, we were talking to Felipe about coming to visit in Colombia.
Felipe Trio.
That was awesome, shaking the hand of producers of our coffees. We were brewing at Third Wave Water. A guy walks up,
Ariel.
talking to Ethan. He's like, Honduras Marco Tulio. I know Marco Tulio. He was my bus driver growing up.
Goated.
Mic drop.
Insane. Takes the coffee, taking it back to Marco Tulio.
Yeah.
That was one of my favorite moments. So, another moment, someone walked up to us. They were like, I'm a producer. I listen to your podcast. Can I give you some coffee?
Alejandro, Colombia.
Yeah, those were definitely the moments that really stuck out to me. I mean, there was a lot of cool products, but
Sure.
What was your favorite product you saw?
Again, back to this best coffee I had. Every one of the best coffees was from a Weber EG1.
Yeah.
So I have had coffee brewed on an EG1 once or twice, but it was kind of just like a lot more people had them, and it was great. So that stuck out. Fun things that the Latte Art Factory, like steamed milk dispensers were cool.
Mm-hmm.
Ethan got some steamed oat milk from one and poured an absolute banger.
Heater.
It was crazy.
Oops.
Was that the best oat milk texture you've ever had?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Straight from that. That's crazy.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. What about you? What was some of your favorite
Wait,
products?
I want to say one more.
Okay, go ahead.
Excuse me.
I'm sorry. Thank you.
And the last thing, man, I'm just talking about automation. The MAME under counter super automatic espresso tap was crazy.
Yeah, that was crazy.
And I liked it.
We've been eyeing that from afar for a long time. As Eversys fans,
Mm-hmm.
you know, you can just get a single group head of some really good automated espresso, and it brews from the bottom up, saturates the puck from the bottom up, and then somehow goes back down to the spout.
Who's to say?
I'm sure via tubing.
Tubing will be involved for sure.
Yeah, those were super cool. two grinders in the machine, so you can have espresso and decaf, or espresso and single origin, or like house and single origin, whatever you want to call it.
You think you ever want to get one of those?
That would be one of the automation steps. I would be. The thing with automation for me, we were talking about this yesterday, was you kind of lose some flexibility, pretty much, or you like have to make that an addition too.
Yeah.
Because if we got this thing, it's not even like you can't do anything else with it, you know?
Sure.
So you really only have 2 espresso options, unless you get 2 taps and then you have 4 espresso options. And that's just like a lot of money, frankly.
Right.
I mean, you'd probably do like house decaf on one and then like house single origin on the other one. And I get that if you're that high volume, but it is like we just use an espresso machine for like other things. It's like innovative to like see it as like more than just an espresso maker, but hey, we could do these coffee shots or this middle child, or even if you get a nicer espresso machine, like the decent or the Strata X, and you start playing with flow rate and you're doing like the filter 3.0 thing, you know, where you're making a coffee. So you kind of lose some of that, but you gain whatever you gain, speed or simplicity. And so that's how I feel about the Latte Art Factory one too. It was like, if you only have so many taps, but it's like, and it's small, but it's still legit. Like working on bar yesterday, someone's like, can I have like half oat milk, half almond milk? Can I have 2%, which is just can you mix skim and whole? Can I have this one?
Yeah.
So you have to like kind of either have that on top of what you already have, like a normal setup where you have flexibility and you have automation. But for me, I'm like, why would I buy a MAME and have a espresso machine?
Yeah.
I'm almost like, for a company like us, suburban specialty coffee shop in the South, we make a lot of iced lattes. You could have an iced latte station.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. There's someone I'm talking to about wholesale, and they're opening what I think and they think will be a really high volume shop where they have a drive-through and indoor sit down area as well. So they're thinking about doing a Strata S. That's the one we have, yeah.
Yeah.
The S.
Strata X has a little bit more of the bells and
Flow
whistles
rate stuff, yeah. So Strata S and then an Eversys for the drive-through.
Dang.
Which would be mental. But, you know, if in probably just our second location, because we have a lot more space behind the bar there, having a to-go bar where you have a single MAME tap, just house and decaf, maybe not even decaf, and then you have some sort of steam module and a milk pitcher rinser and a kitchen display. That would be really cool.
Yeah.
That's more how I see it, incorporating something like that as a supplement to the current operation. But it's hard to drop that kind of money on just like a auxiliary, just in case type thing. But anyways,
the MAME looks good though.
Yeah, it
which
looks
is
awesome.
cool.
It's true.
And the steam module looks really nice as well. We're talking about, you were asking me about
favorite products.
Yeah, and then Riley cut me off. Right. Yeah, and we're back. Gotcha. Okay. I'm messing around. It was fun going
Cut me off first.
Yeah. From a cafe lens, like I was pulled off, and I was really interested in the like shelf stable orange juice and apple juice guy. I was like, this is neat. I've always had a hard time like sourcing juice. And then there was other stuff like, I had answers. I wanted to try the Tash pistachio milk. That was fun. They partnered with Canyon and did like a pistachio milk latte, or no, matcha latte.
Yeah, that was
kegged.
good.
That was good. A really cool one was the Nitro Brew, like tankless nitrogen infuser. That's another one where it's like you're removing a problem, which is like having to go refill your nitrogen tanks all the time. But you have like a couple limitations that it's not just exactly plug and play, because he was not recommending running milk through it. And we have that draft latte. So I was like, I'm interested to see how this would work, you know? That was cool. And the Next Level Pulsar booth was fun. I got to walk up while the guy who designed it, Jonathan Gagne,
At least helped.
he at least helped. Wrote a book as well, The Physics of Filter Coffee. He was making some coffee from color. Where are they from? Europe?
I don't know.
We don't know. Hey, we could Google it. Also, the Prodigal booth was really cool as well.
Mm-hmm.
The team that Scott Rayo had around him, they were really nice.
Every single one of them were very kind.
That was one of the most like friendly booths where I was like, this is fun. And this is amazing coffee.
Also brewing probably the best coffee there.
Sure.
Or
and
up there.
the Doc from Amsterdam, Doc Coffee, they were in Roasters Village. They were really nice. That was, and we'll just cut to it. The biggest miss of the trip for me was that I didn't get to fulfill my jersey swap concept.
Fantasy.
Of I'm wearing a Valor shirt. I had to borrow Ross's for the last day. I just really wanted to do a jersey swap with someone else where it's like Expo's over and you're like, dude,
Let's get shirtless together.
let's take off our shirts and exchange shirts.
Just the photo would have been so funny.
Like,
But then
the whole thing.
The guy from Doc was like, this is an old Doc shirt. It's the only one I have. And I was like, dude, come on. Just take your shirt off.
Don't want a jersey swap.
I'm like, dude, but this shirt is so cool.
It has coffee all over it.
We gotta get one
So
of our really cool shirts.
at least it gives me a goal for next year.
Well, I want to do baseball jerseys for Valor, like like the button-up baseball
So
shirts.
then you could take it off and still have a shirt on.
yeah,
Just gonna win.
'cause AS Color has one,
Oh.
and it looks nice.
Gosh, nice.
Hey, so let's get back to Friday. The two biggest highlights for me, we got to meet some people from Cat and Cloud.
Yeah, that was awesome.
That was awesome.
Kind of a dream come true moment for us, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Twooby, Jared Truby, Mark, who has a last name that we don't know.
Right now.
Dulce,
I can tell you right now.
Michael,
Follow him on Instagram.
Eli,
You're really showcasing your name, remembering
other ones.
skills. Yeah, may even have a little collab podcast on the horizon.
Oh, please, God.
Mark's last name is Gessler.
Oh, I was going to say Kessler.
Pretty close.
He'd probably accept that.
Mark Kessler. They were so nice.
Yeah.
They're like,
True to form.
and that was cool. I'm sure a lot of people go to Expo excited to meet people, and you're like, I hope they don't stink.
Never meet your heroes.
But I got to meet them, and I was like, I love you guys. And they're like, we're cool.
Yeah.
They said they're cool. And I was like, you're right. You guys are cool.
Yeah.
That was really fun.
Yeah. We kind of got to ride with them on and off the whole weekend, which was awesome.
Yeah.
Mm.
They invited us to a Honduran Young Farmers Cupping later that day. That was probably the other big highlight.
That was the
One
highlight
of the
of
coolest things about it, some of our friends from local in Georgia were
Yep.
there, and their coffees were on the table.
Harry, Letitia, Alma,
Picaterito.
Picaterito.
Pincaterito.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was really sick.
We serve one of their coffees pretty much all the time.
That was another aspect I did not consider was the cuppings.
Mm-hmm.
That was really cool.
Yeah.
I will say, being in a room with like 80 people and 16 coffees, I am a little like, my brain's not working exactly
Yeah.
right. I like took some pictures of stuff. I was like, ooh, this one's cool. But
Right.
There's some really cool coffees on the table for sure.
We're running out of time.
No.
So we do have to kind of blast through the rest of the weekend and then review this coffee because that's too important not to do.
All right. Well, Friday night, I got to meet a lot of people from Code Black Coffee in Melbourne. And I just got to hang out with Alan, Tom, other ones.
There's a K.
Pat, and Kyle.
Kyle.
The boys, man. Then we
did
figured
it.
out that Kyle loved the NFL.
Yeah.
And we got to talk about the draft. Those guys were awesome.
Highlight of the night right
that
there.
was one of the highlights of the trip, was getting to talk to those guys. They were really cool, really fun.
That was probably my.
You just liked it because they thought you were funny.
Oh, I think they thought I was dumb, which was like, I was
Like
kind
dumb
of
laughing
funny.
at you,
I
not
was
with
kind of
you.
clowning it up. I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm dumb. And they're like, yeah, you are.
You're like, this is funny.
And I'm like, oh.
Yeah. If for anyone not watching, he was just doing the worm with his arms.
Not
worm
it wasn't
arms.
a full body worm.
But that was probably my favorite night because we got to hang out with our friends at Super Official,
Oh,
John and the squad. Which just quick shout out to John. He has a pretty small team. I think there's maybe 4-ish people that he works with over there. And he brought all of them to SCA. That's expensive.
yeah, wow.
And we're over here, on this mic, like talking about how a budget for a coffee shop can be pretty tight, even if you're busy.
Mm-hmm.
And he's over here with like a small team paying for all of them to come to SCA so that they can further
Closing down for the weekend.
Yeah, and closing. Like
Yeah.
that was just like class act.
Wow. It's all about what you prioritize. And it's sick that you prioritize that.
Yeah, so got to hang out with them. Got to hang out with Austin Massey from Viator Coffee, longtime wholesale partner. And
He Ubered us around.
In his
Yeah.
van.
he lives
Thank you.
in Illinois, in Elgin. That was
Elgin.
another bit, Elgin. Yeah, so thanks to Austin for being
Hanging out
our,
with Austin.
our
Awesome.
Uber.
Went to that rooftop bar with him after the Cafe Imports.
Kept hanging.
Yeah. Cindy's?
Cindy's. Saw Jared Ray
Sick.
from Califia.
Yeah. What's up, Jared? Hung out with
Yeah,
Jared.
I mean, just to cut to it, like my favorite part of SCA was just basically what we've been saying this whole time, that like there's so many different corners of the industry represented. So you've got the farmers, you've got the roasters, you got the cafes, and like to be able to have FaceTime with wholesale partners that I've only talked with over a Zoom call, and to see that entire supply chain represented. And some importers were there. There's tons of importers there too, and we got to connect with them. So I just really love that. And I think that's probably the main reason I want to go back every year, is that you can really knock out a bunch of birds with one stone, one trip.
We're knocking out a lot of birds.
Like there's birds like dying everywhere. But yeah.
All right. Got to get through the rest of the weekend. I'm just going to take it, guys. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Saturday, we go to
Prequel with Caleb Hall of Brownies
with Caleb.
and Gianna.
and Gianna. That was awesome.
Thank you for breakfast.
Very fun. We go to Expo. That day at Expo, I'm trying to think of what the heavy hitters were. You went to the woman producer cupping Honduras.
Yep.
Ross and I just kind of walked the floor the whole time. Then we brewed at Third Wave Water.
That's when we started to lose our voice.
Yes. And that was amazing.
It was so much fun.
We let all of you viewers and listeners know we were going to be there. A lot of you showed up. We got to just
Thank you.
brew our coffee on equipment we'd never touched.
Oh,
Hope it was good.
that was frightening.
Let us know what you thought of the coffee in the comments and be honest. Oh, I got to hang out with Melissa from Little Wolf. That was
Hey,
amazing.
Chris,
Friend of the
Melissa.
program.
Then Saturday night, we recorded a podcast, our last podcast that was released with Chris from Keys of the Shop. It was amazing.
We got deep dish pizza.
Pequods.
Pretty good.
It was pretty good. Could only eat 2 pieces because it was a
Deep.
lot. It was deep. Then we went to the after party, La Marzocco after party for 15 minutes.
So it was so crazy.
It was crazy. We hadn't had any food. We were all really tired. So he left Sam and Luke there to party. Well, you know, the bosses shouldn't be around for the party.
Yeah.
We all
We read
read
that
how
in
to
a
be,
book.
how to be a boss.
How to be a boss.
Justin Kerr.
Yeah. So we go and eat ramen.
At
And
Ramen
then
Son.
we walk back to the hotel room.
You gotta walk off
That's
your
when my
ramen.
toenails got ingrown at that point.
How are they now?
Still ingrown.
Hmm.
And then we went to bed. And then the next day, hotel breakfast, amazing.
Oh,
Expo. We went to Expo. They went to Metric.
yeah.
Expo. And then
We try to walk. We were like, we are going to see everything. We are
Yes.
going to start in a corner and do it.
and then we didn't.
Fail.
Yes. But it's still fun. And then
Because, yeah, we ran
and then we left. The end. Get over it.
It was so wild how many people stopped us and said, "Hey, I love the podcast." I thought that would happen like a little bit while we were brewing at Third Wave Water, but it was like kind of constant.
It was kind of crazy. I was very flattered, honored, and also like, holy crap.
We're like, we can introduce you guys to some better podcasts.
Yeah,
Like
really?
Joe Rogan, Andrew
Oh,
Huberman.
If anyone, this is the sentimental corner real quick before we go to the coffee review. I had a tear up moment when we were talking to Juan Diaz, just like long time in the industry guy that we were baristas alongside. Now he's like doing farming or importing work in Colombia. And it was so awesome to see him.
Yeah.
Like see a dude who started like us as a barista, like find his career in coffee. So I'd love to work with him more and get him on the program even because he's got such a deep knowledge and understanding of the industry.
Yeah, he was in the same generation of us, the Bellwood guys,
Portrait Academy.
Academy.
Mm.
Yeah, he was around then.
Yeah, we had a lot of moments like that where we were like, we're going to have to get you on the podcast.
Felipe Trujillo.
Yeah. So we've got some stuff, totally got some stuff lined up.
Oh yeah, we do have a lot of coffees to review.
Yes.
That was really cool. We got to cup so many coffees that we got at our all staff last week with our team to
yes.
show off a lot of the amazing coffees that people are roasting around the world.
Mhm.
And the Doc watermelon co-ferment for me, I think took the cake as like the craziest, yummiest coffee.
Mm.
It
wasn't too crazy though.
It was the perfect amount of crazy.
That's right. We have to review this coffee and wrap this.
Done.
Let's talk about the aesthetic.
5 ounces.
We're going to start with content, of course.
Which we already read.
We've already read the content, and we just need to say what we think about it.
Let me see the top.
It's a little flavor wheel.
Ooh, nice. Okay, so content out of 10?
That's right. 1, 2, 3,
9.
8. What'd you say?
9.
Okay.
Just, I mean, borderline perfect.
It's got everything. Does it have the address?
Everything and not a lot of space.
It's just got email
Just the email.
and MAME.
No Instagram?
It kind of has their website. There's like MAME and there's a dot in between it.
Yeah.
Okay. It says
Roasted.
roasted for filter.
Hey, and the filter was miles ahead better than the espresso,
Espresso.
or cappuccino.
Yeah.
So not that.
Espresso or cappuccino. Yeah.
Hey, always remember to zero out your bursts because it was pulling in like 18 seconds. Then we're like,
All right. Aesthetic. It's so interesting. It's like how you can kind of like rank different movies different ways.
oh,
Because it's like Top Gun Maverick
Right?
was one of my favorite movies I've ever seen in a theater. It's not the best movie I've ever seen, but I categorically rank it different than what's
Like an indie flick.
an indie flick.
indie flick.
Yeah,
Yeah.
indie flick.
Like Monkey Man.
Like Monkey Man. What? So
I just like Avengers.
I look at this and I'm gonna categorically, because I know that this is like supposed to be premium,
Right.
and I think that it has the premium aesthetic going on.
But you wouldn't have that packaging for like your daily driver.
Yeah,
Right.
but all of their coffees premium coffees?
Probably not. I think they have like 5 cafes in Switzerland, or they have 5 cafes across Switzerland and Italy.
Mm.
Maybe 4. don't know
Well, now I just want to know what their
story is.
what their normal packaging looks like. If that's not it,
I love the cylinder.
Oh yeah,
That was a concept we were exploring.
it's all cylinder,
Cylindrical,
but normally 250 grams of coffee.
which is like 10. Oh, that's nice.
Is that bigger?
Yeah,
Oh dang,
how about that?
Yeah.
They've got 1 kilo. I wonder if that comes in a cylinder. It's just
that's a big boy.
Okay. Aesthetic. Ready?
let's do it. 1, 2, 3,
7.
8.5.
So 8.
Okay. All right. User experience.
I did use it and I experienced it. And it was awesome. It had like a really interesting seal, but it was
Yeah, I
so
saw
easy to take off. And pouring out of a cylinder,
Amazing.
Kind of goated.
it's goated with the sauce.
Would you call that a 5?
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
Even just you opening that, just
Yeah, and then
aroma.
it closes really nicely.
Mm.
You can like even fold back the tab.
Ooh.
Now it looks like it's been unopened.
Oh.
That's a big priority for me.
And then I'm like, are they putting, because this tab is a part of this sticker.
Whoa.
Does someone have to like do
Oh my
that?
goodness.
Do you have
I
to
guess
do
that's
this?
why it's so expensive, huh?
All right. Flavor. Out of 10. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 9.5.
10.
10.
So what do I put?
9.75.
We've never gone to 0.75.
9.8. Just
why,
do 9.
why did you say 9.5?
He's always leaving room for growth.
Yeah. I mean, that was the best coffee I've had on the program,
For sure.
like for sure.
Okay, let's go 10. We're gonna go 10. That's
I
insane.
mean, until we get the cat
Insane.
poop coffee in, I mean, I don't think we're going to have a
Oh,
better
gosh.
coffee on the
Right.
program.
All right,
Before we get-
enjoyability. 1, 2, 3, 10.
8. I can't drink that every day.
I
Kidding
could.
me?
I
guess-
honestly think I could.
I could drink it on filter every day, no doubt.
Yeah.
Espresso was tough.
And espresso is part of this grading system.
So
The cappuccino was pretty good.
It was just it's like so acidic. I don't know. It's classic to say. but-
Cheers.
What was that? Like $4 right here? Oh, that's good.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Whoa. All right. Crunch. 1, 2, 3, 5. Ross.
Brother, it was a great crunch.
I had some weird roasty flavors in there.
It tastes like Captain Crunch berries.
Are you saying that because it was like crunchy?
No, Ross. I thought that when I opened the packaging and smelled it.
All right, guys. 44.5.
What did free throw get?
42.
One of our highest reviewed coffees. I think it is our highest reviewed coffee. Definitely.
You think it beats Freed Hats
It's right up there with it. Right up there with it.
according to your leaderboard?
Yeah, we have to get the leaderboard going.
Yeah, we got to get the leaderboard.
That means I have to watch every podcast.
You did
Ugh.
anyways.
Yeah, that's true.
Sounds
That's
like-
true.
Well, that was fun. I very exciting.
Thanks for letting
So-
us recap and you guys listen to it.
Hey, speaking of expensive coffee, if you want to buy one that's not anywhere close to as expensive as this coffee, but still pretty good, next Friday, we have an awesome Colombian churroso hitting the shelves. It's washed. It's awesome. It's fun. Ross, what are you doing with our wholesale partners next week?
Well, I'm still lining it up.
Oh,
It's still in beta phase.
Oh.
But I'm pretty sure it's happening. We are going to get on a Zoom call with the 2 farmers that are making up this coffee. They're calling it the Hombre Slot. And my understanding is these 2 farmers are neighbors, and they are combining their churroso variety coffee, I guess 50-50. I guess we'll find out the details about that. And that's the coffee we're bringing in. So we're going to get on a Zoom call with them, the importer that we're working with on this coffee, Unblended, which we absolutely love Unblended. Their whole thing is making coffee farming an exciting career path for young people, so we can lower the average age of farmers across the world, but specifically in Colombia. So yeah, we're going to get on a call with them and then us as well. So, and then wholesale partners. So it's like every bit of the supply chain represented. And it'll just be a really good time for our wholesale partners to ask questions, get connected with the people that are growing their coffee, importing their coffee, roasting their coffee, and then other people around the country that are brewing that coffee as well. So what a rich time. I'm so excited. I'm like giddy over here.
Yeah, you are. No kidding.
Yeah.
That's amazing. So be on the lookout for that coffee. It's going to sell out fast.
We have how much? 100 pounds of it?
Yeah, we bought way not enough of it.
I think we've done that a lot. But,
Yeah.
you know.
Well, it's funny to have a growing company, isn't it? Where we used to not have very many wholesale accounts, and we would get a black box coffees, and then we're just selling them at our cafe in Alpharetta.
Right.
And you have that, and then now it's like we have 2 cafes. We've kind of created some excitement at the cafes about those coffees. Plus, we have a lot of awesome wholesale partners who want coffees that cost $35.
Do you think we're going to
ounces.
roast it one day?
If it opens Friday and then it gets roasted Monday. I think so.
1 or 2 days, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
But what's cool too is we have another black box offering coming right after this Churroso, and I think we'll try to do the same Zoom call format for all of our wholesale partners. So,
Yeah.
and that'll just be something that's exclusive to if you work with us in our wholesale program. So, if you're interested in that, send me an email, ross@valor.coffee. We can talk about it.
Let's go. You just put your email out there, huh?
Yeah.
You just don't even care.
Kind of easy to guess. You know,
Yeah.
we got wholesale@valor.coffee info. I mean, just our names. So,
Well, mine is like 74Y2
Sith Lord.
345 at valor.coffee.
Trekkie at valor.coffee.
All right. Been fun.
It's been real.
See y'all next week. Hey, can I say something that we didn't say this entire time?
What?
This was our 100th episode.
Oh. Love you guys.
What a 100th episode special, right?
Yeah, we had so much. Oh, that was rich. It was rich.
Let's keep going. Let's
Hey.
get 200.
All right.
To 100 more.
That's right. Love y'all.